Surprise! The Niners are playing the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. I'm sure the Niners were surprised. I bet they were expecting to face the Seahawks because no one really expected the Vikings to beat the Saints in New Orleans. They did. The way I see it is this is the worst case scenario for the 49ers, even though I'm picking them to win this game. They should beat the Vikings. Not because they're that much better than the Vikings. The Vikings are solid. The way I look at this matchup is whichever team wins this is going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. They're better than the Seahawks and Packers. Vikings are solid. The main thing working against them is the fact that they've only had 6 days rest and they have to travel for the second week in a row. They have very few weaknesses. I'll get into them. They have a lot of strengths. I'm going to break each one down. Really illustrate the challenges that they present and show you the few but significant areas where they're weak and the Niners need to attack. Let's get right into it. All right. There are many strengths. They're a really solid team. They don't have many weaknesses, but they're a run-first team, and their best player is Dalvin Cook, their running back. Let me just make sure I got everything working here. Yup. Okay. So, first strength, their run game. This is from just last week against the Saints. This is their bread and butter play, outside zone to the right. They got a wide receiver playing fullback here. That's not typical. Usually it's a fullback playing fullback, but this is a formation they use a lot. See, the Niners use it. Gary Kubiak is the offensive architect of the Vikings, and he was Kyle Shanahan's mentor, or one of them. Shanahan was his offensive coordinator with the Texans. So you see outside zone to the right. And this running back here, Dalvin Cook's like Terrell Davis. Kubiak coached Terrell Davis in Denver. I mean, Cook's about at that level. This is an easy 22-yard gain. What I want you to look, I'm going to show you the second strength for the Vikings is their play-action passing game. And what makes, they kind of go together because just watch the blocking. The blocking for the play-action pass is going to look exactly the same. You got all these guys moving to the right. Then you get the handoff. This guy just needs to make one cut. So they block it efficiently, and this running back is one of the best in the league, if not the best. So it's a simple play. The Niners really are in a good position to stop it because they run the wide 9. This is a wide 9 too, if you see what I'm saying. This is the wide 9 defender outside the tight end. Vikings run to the weak side. How do they get the edge here? Let's see. Oh, he slants the wrong direction. Take themselves out of the play. The Niners are going to have to do a really good job of not slanting to the inside, setting the edge, and forcing Dalvin Cook between the tackles, not out here. That's the first thing the Niners have to do. And luckily for them, the wide 9 is actually the right form of 4-3 defense you want against an outside zone team. Robert Saleh's base defense could work, or if he really wants to stop the run, he could put 5 across the line and set the edges that way. Whatever you do, set the edge, sell it to stop the run. That's what the Vikings want to do, run the ball. But they're tough because when you sell it to stop the run, they can also call these play-action bootleg passes like the Niners do that look exactly like their runs for the first second and a half of the play. Let me show you. And I want to talk a little about the Niners game against the Packers and how that could affect this game. But let me show you the play-action pass first and what it looked like. Remember the blocking on that previous play. I'm going to just notice how similar it is on this. So we're going 6-10 here. That was a run to the right. This is a play-action bootleg to the left. So it's going to look pretty similar at first. There's no fullback. But still, look at the blocking. Looks like a run play. Looks like a run play until now. You got 20 over here playing the run. Now he's defending no one. Should be defending 82 right here. And these are the kind of looks that Kyle Shanahan gets George Kittle. Look at it over here from the end zone. From the all-22. It's just they sell runs so well. All the offensive linemen look like they're run blocking. They carry out the fake for so long that look at this guy, the strong safety. He just kind of gets sucked into this mass of bodies over here. Leans. And now he's guarding no one. He's covering Cousins or something. when the guy's right behind him, Rudolph. So what I'm wondering is, we know the Vikings want to run the ball. They ran 40 times last week. We know the 49ers are going to sell to stop the run. You have to. They're a run-first team. We saw what the Niners did against the Packers. Sell out to stop the run. Aaron Jones. Well, what did the Packers do? They came out and ran bootlegs like every play in the first half. Are the Vikings going to do that? Because they could. And their offensive coordinator is Kevin Stefanski, but the offensive architect and assistant head coach is Gary Kubiak. He's extremely creative, just like Kyle Shanahan. Much more creative than Matt LaFleur. I'm sorry, the Rams. I'm tripping. The Rams and Sean McVay were the ones that did all the bootlegs. I'm sorry, guys. They were the one that did all the bootlegs. The Packers wouldn't figure that out in a million years. Matt LaFleur is not that good of a coordinator or a head coach. Sean McVay and the Rams. Remember, Week 16, the Niners were there to sell out the run game against Gurley. Sorry about that. And McVay was very clever. He says, fine, we're just going to bootleg you to death. And the Niners eventually countered. Will Kubiak and the Vikings do the same thing? My bad. I'm saying the wrong name. All right. Next strength, their wide receivers. They have two of the best wide receivers. And for the first guy, I want to show you a play from 2018. I think you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, I have a treat for you. Not really. I mean, I could show you how good Stephon Diggs is against most corners or good corners, or I could show you what he did to Ahkello Witherspoon last year. Because Witherspoon's playing a whole lot like he did last year. This was Witherspoon against Stephon Diggs, top of the screen. We're talking 3rd and 3 at the SF22. This is man coverage, supposed to be bump and run. Witherspoon was playing very aggressive at the beginning of this season when the pass rush was fast and dominant, and he knew he only had to cover for a few seconds. Oh, hike the ball, Kirk. The last few weeks when he doesn't have the confidence of a great pass rush, he's been playing on his heels a little bit like he does here. Doesn't touch Stephon Diggs. Diggs runs by him down the sideline. Coverage isn't terrible, but Witherspoon never turns his head or plays the ball, gives up the touchdown. He gave up a touchdown 2 weeks ago just like that against the Seahawks. The Vikings are going to go after Ahkello Witherspoon probably just like that within the first 15 plays and see if they can get Witherspoon benched if Witherspoon starts. It's really important for Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan, because Shanahan's the head coach, to have a quick hook with Ahkello Witherspoon. If this happens in the first half, don't bring him back out for the second half. The season's on the line. Go to Mosley. Because even though you believe in Witherspoon, sometimes he doesn't believe in himself, especially when he knows the pass rush isn't as great as it was the first 3 weeks. So we'll see. How confident does he play? We know he can get burned by Stephon Diggs. It's happened already. And Witherspoon knows it. Diggs knows it. That's not their only guy, though. Let's look at what Thielen did last week against the Saints. And this is not like a huge play, but it's how they use him a lot on third down, which is key. Because the Vikings don't throw the ball very much. They basically throw on third down and as little as possible in between, with the occasional play-action shot play. So I'm talking the wild card round in 2019. All right. Thielen. This is something that they're going to do a bunch, and it's not that exciting. Hold on. Not big plays. Regular plays. Regular plays. Okay. 3rd and 9 this is going to be. And it is 4:33. Where you at, buddy? Here. Okay. 3rd and 9. You got Thielen in the slot. They put him in the slot a lot on third down, meaning he's going to be going against K'Wan Williams. Here he's going against Marshawn Lattimore, one of the best corners in the league. And he beats him with just a speed out route. He does this all the time. Really, really good at just running a speed out route. All of his routes are extremely crisp, and he gets separation underneath. That's an easy completion of 9 yards on 3rd and 9. He's going to be going up against K'Wan Williams, who gave up separation like this to Tyler Lockett on 3rd down in the second half against the Seahawks. I broke that down in my film review of the Week 17 game. Niners have to be ready for this. They play a lot of man coverage on 3rd down. Can anyone cover anyone? Can K'Wan Williams cover Thielen? If not, they'll have to bracket him. I mean, Salah might get into a situation where he needs to bracket both wide receivers, Diggs, and Thielen, because they're that good. Problem is, there's also Cook coming out of the backfield and two tight ends. Let me show you those tight ends. They're especially dangerous in the red zone. So I want to start with Rudolph. I mean, you saw his game-winning touchdown grab last week. He's made a lot of catches like that this year. Let me show you. He makes these one-hand catches that are really, really remarkable. Week 13. One of the better red zone weapons in the league. 719. Where you at, buddy? Here. Okay. Rudolph right here. Hurry up, Kirk. Hurry up, Kirk. Hurry up, Kirk. Hurry up, Kirk. We're all waiting for you, Kirk. Okay, here. Let's back it up. Not fast like George Kittle, but really a good route runner. Has a head fake here. Gets open without pushing off. Cuts back to the inside and makes an amazing one-hand catch. Can we see it from the end zone? Here. Doesn't push off. Cousins throws with anticipation. He trusts him. And look at this one-handed, left-handed catch. He's made a bunch of catches like this year. And they went to him with the game on the line in overtime. When the Vikings get to the red zone, he's the guy that Robert Saleh has to key in on. Rudolph. But there's another tight end as well. He's a rookie. His name is Irv Smith. And let me show you, he's also a red zone weapon. Let me show you him week 15. Real quick, just so you know. Just so if he catches a touchdown in the game, you're not like, what the heck, Grant? You didn't say anything about Irv Smith. No, I'm getting Irv Smith. Okay, hold on. Not touchdowns, week 15. No, dude, team. Hold on. Minnesota. Where you at? Okay. Not touchdowns. Oh, yes, touchdowns. Okay. Here. When you watch these plays from the Vikings, if you've been watching my film breakdowns all year, you'll notice they're basically like the same exact plays the Niners run. They steal from each other weekly. Like that play that the Niners ran where Emmanuel Sanders threw a touchdown pass to Raheem Mostert. I don't know if you noticed, but the Vikings tried to run that last week against the Saints with Stephon Diggs throwing the ball, and he got sacked because the running back wasn't open. They ran the same exact play anyway. That's neither here nor there. This play, you got 1 yard line, no wide receivers, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs, play action. This is Irv Smith here, rookie. Blocks for about a second and a half, then just runs to the back of the end zone and makes a diving catch. Both of these tight ends have terrific hand-eye coordination and body control. They're excellent receivers. Niners have to be cognizant of both of them. And even while they're focusing on the tight ends, Diggs and Thielen can beat you too, not to mention Cook. This is a really, really well-balanced team. And as terrific as the Niners' weapons are, Jimmy Garoppolo's weapons are, I think the Vikings' weapons are even better. This is a very tough matchup. And again, as I say, the biggest thing in the Niners' favor is their home field advantage and their extra rest. Those things should win the game for them. Because if it were a neutral field with equal rest, I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, let's now go to their defense because their defense is the reason they won last week. I'm talking about Minnesota. Interceptions, week 16. I appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching this. Week 16. Okay. The Vikings, I want to start with their defense. They defend the middle of the field so well. Which is problematic for the Niners because Jimmy Garoppolo likes throwing the ball over the middle. His favorite place to throw is between the numbers, 10 to 20 yards downfield. That's exactly where what am I doing? This isn't it. It's the other one. That's exactly where the Vikings' best coverage players are. They're 2 safeties, Anthony Harris, the free safety, Harrison Smith, the strong safety, Eric Kendricks, and Anthony Barr, the linebackers. Kendricks, Barr, Harris, Harrison Smith. These four guys. They're their best players. They're weaker at cornerback. I'll get to the corners later. But watch Anthony Harris. No one knew who this guy was. A couple of days ago, Kyle Shanahan called him 41. I don't think he still knows his name yet, but he had 6 interceptions this year. He played a lot like Eddie Jackson did last year for the Bears under Vic Fangio. Hold on. Let's bring it back real quick. I'll do it full speed just so you get a sense of how fast this guy is. But he's guarding Devontae Adams. That's one of the best wide receivers in the league. This is Aaron Rodgers. That's a free safety who was an undrafted free agent in 2015. Look at that closing burst. I mean, look at this closing burst. He covers a ton of ground. He accelerates extremely with explosiveness and picks off one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Covers one of the best wide receivers in the league. It's a safety. Really, he starts over here and gets all the way over here. I mean, that's like 40 yards, 35 yards. Hell of a player. These are the guys the Niners need to avoid. And I want to show you one more clip of them defending the middle of the field, because that wasn't even really the middle of the field. And what they do really, really well is defend tight ends. So let me show you what that's all about. Go back to week 7. What's up here? What's going on? Here we go. Week 7. Here we go. Okay. No. Not week 7. The one versus Denver. What week was that? Okay, whatever. Let's go to Harrison Smith, because he's the one who picked it off. See, this is problem solving, right? Right in front of you. Okay. Against the... What am I thinking here, man? Let's see. This might have been it. Could have been it. No, it's the one to Noah Fant. Okay, hold on. This is a... Hey, sorry about this, guys. Bear with me. Brian Allen, what's that guy's name, right? Threw an interception, and did he not? What's that guy's name? Man. Well, this is really embarrassing. I'm talking about the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to edit this out later, guys, I promise. Whew. Be prepared, right? Jeez. Intercepted by... What am I doing? Oh, man, my computer's freaking out. No, I'm going to find this. I'm not giving up. Do I look like the kind of guy who would give up? No. Bingo. Oh, and I found it. Week 11. See? You guys gave up on me. All of you did. It's okay. You don't know me that well. All right. Noah Fant right here, tight end. This is basically George Kittle 2.0. He went to Iowa. He's just as fast as George Kittle. They use him in Denver the way the Niners use Kittle. The Denver's offensive coordinator is Rich Scangarello. He was with the Niners the last 2 years. This is something we might see from the Niners on Saturday and something we might see from the Vikings. First of all, I talked about this box of great players. Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, Harrison Smith, Anthony Harris, they're 4 best coverage players. This is where you want to avoid, from the numbers to the hashes. You really got to throw outside, which is where Jimmy Garoppolo struggles. It's what they forced him to do week 1 last year against when they played each other in 2018. Remember, he threw 3 picks in that game, and his quarterback rating was 45. Now, he's got better weapons than he did back then, but the big thing they did was take away the middle of the field. Here they're trying to throw to Fant down the seam. They just pass him off from one excellent coverage player to the next. They're playing zone. These guys have all been playing together for like 5 years. They all are in the right spot at the right time. Harrison Smith breaks on the ball before this tight end does. Interception. You throw the ball over the middle against the Vikings, you're asking to get picked. You got to be careful. Check it down. Throw screens. Throw outside the numbers. You can get the ball to Kittle. You don't have to they're not going to take Kittle out of the game. You can throw screens to him. You can give him the ball on end arounds. You can run him on wheel routes up the sideline. But you probably shouldn't throw passes like this, because one interception like this could cost the Niners the season. Got to be careful. No reason to challenge the strength of the Vikings pass coverage right up the middle. Okay. Now let's talk about their edge rush because it's fantastic. Sacks. That's the key word here. Sacks. And I'm talking last week. You might remember this play, you might not. I don't know. But I thought it was impressive. Might be the best edge rushing duo in the league. Arguably better than the Niners edge rushing duo because D Ford's been hurt so much. Danielle Hunter, Everson Griffin. 14.5 sacks, 8, 22.5 combined. This is against the Saints. First quarter, 10:33, 3rd and goal from the 4. Let's start here with Danielle Hunter against Ryan Ramczyk, who's a hell of a right tackle. At least as good as McGlinchey. I mean, beats him easily with a little rip move or just right around the edge. On the other side here, well, let's look at this move one more time. Brings the underhand, the right hand underneath. 71 barely gets a hand on him. On the other side, Everson Griffin, veteran. This guy's a little bit younger. This might be their best defensive player. Everson Griffin, excellent player too. Gets Teron Armstead, another terrific tackle with a spin move. Both of these guys sack Drew Brees, who's athletic, but not extremely athletic, and that's about as mobile as Jimmy Garoppolo is. Really got to be careful. These are two of the best edge rushers in the league. Garoppolo's not going to have a lot of time to go through multiple progressions. They got to have a lot of quick hitting, one read screens and checkdowns because of these two guys. But not just because of these two guys. Also because of their blitzes. Let me show you what I mean. Because their blitzes are really good. This guy, Mike Zimmer, their head coach, sort of invented or popularized the double A gap blitz. If you don't know what double A gap blitz, I'll show you. It's not that big. It's not that daunting. I'll show you exactly what it means. I'm talking week 14 here. All right. It's a trend. You didn't see it a lot more than 10 years ago. You see it all the time now because of Mike Zimmer. He made it popular. He does it all the time. It's a big reason you see shotgun so much because you can't really get away from the center against a double A gap blitz. Let me show you real quick. All right. Week 14, right here. You wonder, how come teams use shotgun so much now and they didn't in the 80s? How come, Bill Walsh never used the shotgun? Well, if the quarterback was under center with this right here, he would get sacked by one of them before he got away. Most likely. He needs to be way far away from this because it's real hard for any offensive line to pick this up. What they're going to do, they're showing 1, 2, 3. Hold on. You see the Niners show this a lot too. This exact look. This is 3rd and 10. Clear blitzing down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the line. Saleh does this all the time. You put 7 in the line, 2 guys right in the A gap. You see every coach do this. This is Zimmer's thing. Press the issue, really put a lot of pressure. Make them figure out what they're going to do if both guys come, because these are the two most dangerous threats to the quarterback. Not this guy. These two guys. Even though this is your best player, these guys are closest to the quarterback. What are you going to do? How are you going to pick these guys up? Because the center can't block both of them. They got to slide one direction. They decide to slide to the left. So they pick these two guys up, right? Great. Double A gap blitz isn't that scary, right? Picked it up. 77 went here. 60 went here. No problem. Issue is because it caused so much anxiety. You had to do so much and overcompensate so drastically to pick these guys up. You slid away from their best pass rusher, Danielle Hunter, who now gets a one-on-one on 3rd and 10 against a tight end. That's Jesse James, a tight end, right here. Not a tackle, not a game, but practice. Not a tackle, a tight end. So this double A gap created such worry and problems for the offense. It made them forget about the guy they needed to be worried about in the first place, Danielle Hunter. So this is a way that Zimmer can create one-on-one matchups for his best players. Niners have to have an answer for this. And the answer is, ladies and gentlemen, drumroll please, don't be in 3rd and 10. Jimmy Garoppolo makes lots of great plays on 3rd and 10. Against this defense, good luck. Final thing that the Vikings do well. They tackle well. They tackle really well, especially Anthony Barr, who went to UCLA. Let me show you. Week 16. And why I think this is crucial, because I've been talking about how the Niners need to check down, throw screens. Well, it's not that simple against the Vikings because they have players who specialize in stopping screens, like Anthony Barr. So, not a sack, but a turnover. Let's see. Okay. Here. If the Niners throw a screen to Mostert or Tevin Coleman or Kittle, this is what they got to be aware of. Here's Aaron Jones right here. It's 3rd and 5. When you see a running back lined up out here at wide receiver, you know it's probably either going to be a slant or a screen. Look at Anthony Barr. Right here, comes all the way across the field, dives, knocks the ball out. Eric Kendricks recovers, gets up. Really good linebackers. Runs through all this contact, gets like 25 yards. But just watch Anthony Barr run across the field and make this hit. These are the kind of plays that can win a playoff game for an underdog. All the way across the field. Niners got to be careful. It's not as simple. I mean, they screened some teams to death this year, like the Bengals. It's not going to be quite that simple against the Vikings. They got to mix in screens, but if they just do it not nonstop, Anthony Barr could wreck the game. Now, enough of the praises and the strengths of a 10-win team. Let's get to their weaknesses, because they have some, although they were hard to find. If you were doing the Seahawks, there would be like the offensive line, most of the wide receivers, the tight end, the running backs, the defense, and then you would just spend the strengths would be like 30 clips of Russell Wilson doing amazing things. The Vikings are the opposite. Like the strengths are like their run game, their pass game, their third down offense, their red zone offense, their tackling, their pass rush, their coverage in the middle of the field. You really have to dig deep to find their weaknesses, but they exist. They certainly do exist. I dug deep. I found them. Let's get into it. Shall we? Okay. Run defense. Gap integrity. Week 13. Let's right here. Not turnovers. Big plays. Okay. So they have a terrific pass rush. A lot of times defensive lines that have just ferocious pass rushes play the pass before they play the run and give up some big runs. The Niners are a little bit like that too. Can be. Vikings, same boat. So I'll show you here against the Seahawks week 13. They gave up this big run to Carson. And when I watch their tape, I see things like this a lot. Or enough. Watch 98 here, Linval Joseph, a really good run defender. But he kind of freelances here. He starts off in the B gap. I'm talking gap integrity. That means do your job. Be where you're supposed to be. Defense is 11 guys playing together, not 11 guys doing whatever the hell they want. If you're in the B gap, everyone's counting on you to hold this spot right here. Instead, he jumps inside and takes himself out of the play. This linebacker has to jump into the gap that Joseph was supposed to be in, and all of a sudden, there's no one in this C gap here. That's all Joseph's fault. He had to plug that gap for him. You see them make these mistakes a lot. It's like, how does a defense with excellent safeties, excellent linebackers, excellent defensive linemen, and a good tackling defense struggle to stop the run? Or at least not be a great run defense because of stuff like this. They're more concerned with getting after the quarterback. He abandoned his gap right away. Was he expecting a pass? I don't know. It was 1st and 10 against the Seahawks. What would you expect? I'd expect a run. So the Niners can take advantage of a undisciplined defensive line. I mean, if they're going to jump around and freelance against the Seahawks, which is a team that's just, I mean, as committed to running the ball as any team in the league, then what are they going to do against the Niners? Raheem Mostert should be looking at his chops, seeing stuff like that. Now the corners. I'm just going to show you one corner. And that's Xavier Rhodes. This was last week. Xavier Rhodes used to be a hell of a player not that long ago. This year, he gave up a quarterback rating of 124. I don't know what happened. I mean, he's got a terrific pass rush. He has no excuse. Maybe he just got old. Didn't age as gracefully as Richard Sherman. 10:09 here. This was the one big play that the Saints got. No. Come on, dude. I'm talking. Wait. The one. Hold on. 10:09. That ain't it. Deontay Harris, where are you? Here. Nope. Taysom Hill to Deontay Harris. Where are you? Bingo. Okay. 10:09. All right. Okay. Xavier Rhodes. I don't have to talk about this too much. You watch for yourself. I mean, this is Deontay Harris, a punt returner, not a sophisticated wide receiver. Imagine if this was Emmanuel Sanders, whom the Niners did not have when they played the Vikings and lost 24-16 in 2018. Deontay Harris with the corner to post route gets Xavier Rhodes spinning the wrong direction, trailing the play, not even close. One more time. Xavier Rhodes spun like a dreidel. Yes, a dreidel. No idea where he is. Emmanuel Sanders can do that to him. Deebo Samuel can do that to him. The Niners are going to take turns going after Rhodes, who's probably their weakest corner, but the other guy, Trey Waynes, isn't very good either, and their nickelback is on IR. Their backup nickelback is hurt. They're going to go with some third-string nickelback. I don't even know who it is. The Niners actually could get some mileage out of 3 wide receiver sets, even though it's not really the identity of their offense. They might owe it to themselves to see what they can get out of it, because really none of these cornerbacks can cover the Niners wide receivers. Rhodes, I'm talking Bourne, Deebo, and Sanders should all be able to have matchup advantages in this game. The Niners should be able to get to 30 points, even though this defense is good, as long as they don't force the ball to anyone over the middle. Anyone. They can get wide open spaces outside. Can Jimmy make those throws? I think he can. He's better throwing over the middle, but he's not bad throwing outside the numbers. That's where I feel like that's where most of his interceptions come, but against the Vikings, most of the interceptions are going to come in the middle of the field. So I did the corners, I did the run defense, 2 more. Let's look at their left tackle real quick, because he ain't good. Riley Reef. And then I got to get to Cousins, who I like, but he's going to be my final weakness. Not that he's a weakness, but I'm going to make a distinction about him. So week 16, Riley Reef, 626. This is their left tackle. He gave up 8 sacks this year. The Vikings pass less than almost every team in the league. He didn't have to pass block very much, 71. I'd compare him a little bit to Mike McGlinchey. Both guys are better at run blocking than pass protection. The difference is Mike McGlinchey plays right tackle for the 49ers. I mean, he often has the help of a tight end or a running back in pass protection. This is their left tackle, Riley Reef. I mean, he's worse in pass protection than the Niners' right tackle. Not the most athletic dude. A bit of a waist bender, stiff, robotic, gave up 8 sacks. Cousins got sacked 5 times in this game. Now, Cousins didn't get sacked very much this year because they run the ball so much. And when they don't run the ball, it's a play-action bootleg where he gets the hell out of the pocket. Or it's a 3rd down and the ball comes out quick. This here was 2nd and 6. He takes a 3-step drop, not open. He has to hold on to the ball. Riley Reef has no chance. So if the coverage is good enough and they can make Cousins hold the ball, they can get to him. Because this Riley Reef is a stiff, in my opinion. No, in not in my opinion. He just is a stiff. That's the fact. Final, Kirk Cousins, and it's not that he's bad because he's not great. He's an average starting quarterback in the league who has some good games and some bad games. But this year he has a very interesting split, and splits are stats like home road, first half of the season, second half of the season, indoor, outdoor. His quarterback rating outdoors, 120. His quarterback rating indoors is less than 100. It's not bad, but it's less than 100. And so I think the main thing is not sack. Let's do Kirk Cousins. His accuracy, like in a dome, the Vikings are a dome team. In a dome, his quarterback rating is like 75. No, his completion percentage is 74.5. Outdoors, where the game is going to be played in Santa Clara, his completion percentage drops to 62.8, which is like average. He's an average quarterback. He does much better in a dome where there's no wind. There's going to be wind. It could be kind of grimy in Santa Clara that day. Let's show you what he looks like, what he looked like in Seattle this year, week 13. Remember, he likes to take shots down the field, much more so than Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo likes to throw that intermediate pass over the middle on a line. Cousins likes to throw deep, but he's much better at throwing deep indoors. Where you at? Hold on. Dude, no. I'm talking incomplete. Kirk Cousins, incomplete. Where you at? Incomplete passes. I'm trying to show a bad Kirk Cousins play. Yeah, here we go. Now, I mean, I'm just picking out one play, but the fact is he's way less accurate on the road. This is outdoors in Seattle where it's rainy and windy. He's got Stephon Diggs open deep. He's got time in the pocket. This is a throw he makes at home. It's a throw he makes in the Superdome. Is it a throw he's going to make against the Niners at Levi Stadium? I don't know. He's not as good on the road. The Vikings aren't as good on the road. They're a dome team. They played on Sunday. Now they have to play on Saturday. That's 6 days rest. They played in New Orleans. They flew back to Minnesota. Now they got to fly out to San Francisco, to Santa Clara. That's hard. You know, a lot of quarterbacks are much better in the dome. Drew Brees is that way. Peyton Manning was that way. Andrew Luck was that way. Kirk Cousins is that way. Jimmy Garoppolo might be that way. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was great in New Orleans. It's a lot of times it's guys that have like B-plus arm strength and not necessarily that A arm strength. Like Colin Kaepernick's fastball could pierce through the wind, the snow, not the snow, the rain, the wind. Cousins, not so much. Garoppolo, not so much. I mean, B-plus arm strength is great, but outdoors, Cousins is going to miss some throws he's going to need to make. The Niners should win this game. What it to me comes down to is the stuff I talked about at the beginning of this video. Can they stop the run? And can they take away those bootlegs? Because I think that's all the Vikings really have going for them, similar to the Rams in Week 16. I'm picking the Vikings. No, I'm picking the 49ers. Excuse me. Picking the 49ers. Not by 6. I think that's a strange spread. I think this game is going to be more like a 3.5, a 3-point. I'll say the Niners by 3, by a field goal, late. 30-20. Well, what am I saying here? I don't know. I'm going to go with 24-21. 24-21 Niners. That's what it's going to be. 24-21 Niners. Thanks for watching. I hope you like the logo right here. You check that out? That's high-tech stuff right there. You like that? Every week I bring something new. Take care.